The NBA is not ready for this, as we have a massive Kristaps Porzingis update as he was seen in the lab today on his Instagram working in the gym taking one-legged shots. And this is absolutely huge for a guy who's expected to be out on an extended timetable. To see him in the lab already working is fantastic. We're going to be diving in, looking at what that means for Kristaps Porzingis and also what it can mean for those rotations that Joe Mazzulla is wanting to run with those stay-ready guys. All of that and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Velez. You guys have absolutely killing it, showing your love and showing your support over on the channel. But you guys do know that 70% of you guys who watch our videos are not subscribed. So if you're one part of that 70% and you want to make sure you get all the daily Celtics news and tidbits, this is the home for you. Without further ado, let's dive into the topic at hand. Make sure to grab a snack. Like we were discussing in the introduction, Kristaps Porzingis is in the gym. He is working out and he is preparing for a big comeback with this Boston Celtics squad. And we saw it unfold today on Twitter. So we're going to be breaking it down, diving in, and kind of looking at the implications of this. So first, let's look at this tweet from Zach Cox, who covers the Patriots and Boston Celtics. He had an abundance of tweets and videos from Porzingis's Instagram today, so we compiled and looked at his tweets. A bunch of other Celtics reporters, from Noah Dalzell to Bobby Kravitsky, covered this as well, doing a fantastic job. But Zach was talking about Kristaps Porzingis on his latest rehab with his Instagram. The left leg he is lifting while shooting is the one he had surgically repaired in late June. Celtics expect a 5 to 6 month recovery, so it's unlikely that he'll play until December at the earliest. But Porzingis said that he cannot wait to be back. And like we showed you in the intro video, here are the pictures of Kristaps Porzingis on his Instagram story. If you don't follow Kristaps Porzingis on Instagram already and you're a Celtics fan, what are you doing? Go in and go follow your boy. But if you look at him, on that one leg, looking nice, working out with Celtics Summer League coach DJ McClay. He is going to be the G League coach. He's training with him, which is absolutely fantastic. And then if we look at this other one, this is the one that we used for the thumbnail, you can see on one leg, totally fine. Look at that jump shot, looking pure. Porzingis is working back to that. And that's what Celtics fans love to see. And as we all know, Porzingis himself said he can't wait to be back on the court with a nice picture of him getting a slam dunk in that Celtics screen. As we all know, Porzingis chose to come to Boston for that chance to win a championship, to cement himself in history, and he did so this year by getting that banner 18 brought to Boston. And obviously, with Porzingis this year, he was one of the massive additions in that, overhaul of the roster, where we saw trading out Marcus Smart, Malcolm Brogdon, Grant Williams, and Robert Williams for Jrue Holiday and Porzingis. And Porzingis did have some stints where he got injured through the regular season and in the playoffs, but the Celtics were still able to cement that championship with him on this team. And next year, like we mentioned, he is going to be out with this surgery for about 5 to 6 months. So the earliest he'll be back is around December, maybe even January. They might push it a little bit to make sure that he is fully ready to go and ready to play out the full end of the season with no more setbacks. And I think that could be something smart from the Celtics standpoint. Now, this is obviously fantastic and huge to see Kristaps Porzingis already working in the lab, because if he's already coming back and pushing for this, who knows? He could maybe even have an earlier timetable where he could come back. Now, I don't think the Celtics would necessarily go that route, but that's a possibility that they see, all right, Porzingis is already training, working in late August, early September. If he can get into that, practice drills by October, working with this team in training camp, who knows? Maybe we could see him towards the end of November or even maybe midway through November. But honestly, I think they're going to, be very cautious with Porzingis due to the fact that he's already had numerous injuries with the team last season. They definitely want to be extra precautious heading into this season, making sure he's fully ready to go and to have no setbacks. But the NBA needs to be feared and needs to be scared if they're seeing Kristaps Porzingis already in the lab, because the Boston Celtics, ladies and gentlemen, were your 2023-2024 NBA champions, and they're looking to do it once again. We all know that the roster is basically the same, minus Svi Mykhailiuk and Obashai Brissett at this moment, with the only addition being Baylor Scheierman, their new draft pick, who I think is going to fit in better to this lineup as a young player, as a prospect, than a guy like Svi Mykhailiuk. I think he brings a little bit more to this team as well. Now, obviously, then you look at some other teams in the Eastern Conference, they did get better, but the Celtics, with or without Kristaps Porzingis, were dominant. If we want to look at this stat, according to StatMuse, we can see that the Celtics had a 21-4 record without Kristaps Porzingis throughout the entirety of 2023 and 2024. And as we know, in the playoffs, the Celtics lost Porzingis in that first round versus Miami. Were able to win the following games after he got hurt. They won game 3, won game 4, secured game 5. Then the next two series is versus Cleveland and Indiana. They had no Kristaps Porzingis at all, and they were able to beat those teams in series 8 games to 1, basically only dropping one without Porzingis. And then in the finals, we saw Porzingis come back, then leave, then also come back. But the Celtics were still able to nab that championship and secure that banner 18 with Porzingis dealing with those injuries. So if you're telling me that this team is coming back once again, Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown are only getting better with Jayson Tatum's run in the Olympics, with Jaylen Brown's training, with his new rapping, he is ready to bring this out and unleash all of his power with this Celtics team on both sides of the floor. You got Derrick White and Jrue Holiday were also with Jayson Tatum in that Olympic run. They're still staying hot. Peyton Pritchard was running around, having some fun, playing some basketball as well with Team USA. He was getting his work in, and we all know that the guys Kata, Luke Cornett, and Xavier Tillman are ready to go for that stay ready movement alongside Al Horford, the grizzled veteran. Guys, this team is ready to go. They are not fearing anything. They are ready to back everything up. We break that down in one of our recent videos talking about Jaylen Brown sending a message. If you missed that, go check it out. But the Celtics aren't scared of everybody. They're ready to put up for their championship, to fight to be the reigning champs once again, repeat. I think they have a fantastic chance of doing so. Porzingis is already in the lab working back towards it's what we love to see. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. How do you guys feel about Porzingis working back? This is great news for Celtics fans. I'm absolutely ecstatic. Even though I think it's just some, just little movements, getting them back on the court, getting them repped up. This is what you want to see as a Celtics fan. You don't want to see this happening in October into November. You want to see it a month or two before the season. And the fact that it's already starting is huge for Celtics fans around the world. Next, we're going to be diving in and kind of talking to what we kind of expect, obviously, with Porzingis having this injury kind of working back. We already kind of went into it a little bit, but I'll kind of rehash what I was thinking. Obviously, I think we should expect Porzingis to be out till December, maybe even till January at this point. But who knows? He could have a speedy recovery if he's already working back. But I do expect the guys of Xavier Tillman, Neemias Queta, and Luke Cornett, who all took pay cuts to come back to this Boston Celtics team, to have major roles, especially with Kristaps Porzingis being out for at least a month and a half to maybe 2 months into the season. You're going to see guys like Al Horford getting tired playing those starting center minutes. Guys like Queta, Cornett, and Tillman, depending on the matchup, depending who they're going up against, are going to have to be able to bring that creativity for this Celtics squad. Like we mentioned, Tillman, very, very solid on the switches. We saw that in the finals, where he was able to switch off of screens from the 2-2-5s and play solid defense at the perimeter and inside as well. I truly think that if he polishes that offensive game, can really get consistent from that 3 ball, he is going to be a legitimate rotational piece, not only on the Celtics, but all across the NBA. Luke Cornett, obviously with the Cornett contest, has been a fan favorite, always bringing his nice quips, but honestly, playing really, really solid on the defensive side of the floor this year as a rim protector for the Celtics squad. Again, another 7-footer. He's got to protect that rim. Had a pretty solid block ratio as well. Was able to nab some rebounds, especially as well for the Boston Celtics. And in the playoffs, played some solid defense against some of these top tier bigs, especially Bam Adebayo. And lastly, Neemias Queta, one of the Celtics fan favorites, especially guys on Celtics Digest, myself, Josh, and Godfrey. Neemias Queta is a guy that a lot of Celtics are enthralled by, enticed by, really want to see develop, and securing that long-term deal, that 3-year deal, instead of just picking up his team option, I think shows for the Celtics fans that that is the case, that the Celtics do believe in Queta. They do want to see him, get this run, especially with Porzingis out. And we saw last year when he was available to play in the West Coast road trip, this man was on fire, dominating, putting up double-doubles left and right. And he clearly, if he can work on his finishing around the rim and can work on his foul trouble, which he definitely worked on in his G League training, worked on in the Summer League this year, and is definitely going to work on training camp this year, he is going to be a legitimate backup center in the NBA. If it's not with the Celtics, he will have that job, and I guarantee that. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. What are you guys thinking about Kristaps Porzingis? Who do you like to see out of the Stay Ready group really step up with Porzingis being out? And how long do you think Porzingis is going to be out? Like I said, I think it's going to be December, possibly even January. But let me know. Think it's going to be faster than December or later than December? I'd love to read your comments. Love to know what you guys thinking down below in the comment section. You guys mean the absolute world to me. Thank you guys so much. We recently just hit 5,600 subscribers, which is absolutely crazy, guys. Keep up the good work. Keep hitting that like button. Keep hitting the subscribe button. Share this to Celtics fans that you know would enjoy this channel. And let's get to that 6K mark by the start of the season. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. And go Boston Celtics.